Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Coach Paul. God has qualified me, and I'm bringing to y'all another one of these Move Monday episodes. And I'm gonna get right to the point. If you don't move it, it's going to move you. That, my friends, is a 100% guarantee. All right, let's get off into what we're going to be talking about today. I'm honored and privileged to be used. And also, because I want you all to know that the the titles and the content of these episodes, all of them that I do, it applies to me as well. I have to apply the information that I'm giving to my life because it needs to be effective in my life as well. Somebody has said it to me years ago. The messages that you give, usually they are there for you first. So there you go. I'm practicing what I preach. You know, the scripture talks about faith without works is dead. You know, and you know, I could give messages. If I'm not working the messages that I give, it's dead to me, right? Same to you all. So again, I'm honored and privileged to do this. And let me just go ahead and get into the content that we're talking about today. Here's a quote. Here's a phrase that I had come up with today that was inspired based off of what I'm going to be having some conversations with you all about. Watch this. Many of us have said from time to time, oh man, that word inspired me. That was for me. I needed to be here to hear this. The list goes on and on. All of that's awesome that we heard something that inspired us, that we saw something that inspired us, that we read something that inspired us. But if we don't move on it, or until we move on what inspired us, all it is just a word. And today, that's what I want to talk about. Inspiration without application makes inspiration just a word. Just the word. So again, I want you all to understand that this applies to me as well, because over my life, there have been many times, even as late as yesterday, right? On Sunday, May 25th, my pastor had talked about this. And I was inspired by the message that he brought. I was inspired by some of the words. That's what encouraged me to be able to title this "Inspiration Without Application Makes Inspiration Just the Word." So back to what I was saying. Many times in my life, I've heard messages, I've heard words, I've seen things, I've read things, different places that has inspired me, right? I was motivated and encouraged by it. And many of those times, I didn't act on none of it. And many of those times, I needed to act on some of those things that inspired me. And because I didn't act on it, inspiration just became just the word. And because I didn't act on it, nothing changed. Absolutely nothing changed. Again, it brings me to lots of time when we're, especially in church, you know, you hear, you know, or in a spiritual setting, right? You hear people say, man, that word, that was a powerful word. That word, that message, that, you know, whatever, it moved me. It inspired me. It encouraged me. It motivated me. And that's all fine and dandy. The problem is many times we don't move on it. And again, I've done this. I've practiced this many times, even with my spiritual walk. First and foremost, with my spiritual walk, there's been many times, right, that God had said something to me and I was encouraged and motivated and inspired, whether he said it to me directly or he said it to me through someone. And I knew, it was just something in me that knew that that was him who was saying whatever it is that had been said. And I didn't move on it. And all it became was just a few words that was spoken to me. And I absolutely did not grow in that area, especially when it comes to me building a healthy and closer relationship with God. As a matter of fact, some of those words and encouragements that is being brought to us and given to us, or that was given to me, were designed to get me into a closer and healthier relationship with God. And many times, I'm going to keep it 100. I didn't act on them, thus making that word just the word. And the reason why I didn't act on it a lot of times, again, keeping it 100, because I knew I was going to have to apply these things to my life. And in other words, I was going to have to be responsible. I was going to have to be accountable. I was going to have to do grown man stuff. And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready. I didn't want to. I knew it, but I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to be irresponsible. I wanted to be a child. I wanted to be unaccountable. I want that. Unfortunately, I'm keeping it 100. That's what I wanted for my life at those times. And nothing grew. Nothing happened. All those words became, let me put it to you like this. Let me slow down and put it to you like this. You know how they make umbrellas and fabrics that are rain repellent? The rain just rolls off of it. That's what some of those things did for my life. The ones that I didn't move on, the ones that I didn't act on, the ones that didn't become an application in my life. It was like I was rain repellent. I was word repellent. It just rolled off of me and did absolutely nothing to better the quality of my life or better the quality of my relationship with God. But it didn't stop there. It actually worsened the quality of my life and lessened my relationship with God, or severed, put a greater gulf between my relationship, me and my relationship with God. And some of you all out there who is listening to this particular episode can understand what it is that I'm saying. Inspiration without application. If you don't move on it, all it is just words. However, when you move on it, it becomes power. The same thing with, watch this, the same thing with our physical beings, right? You see people all the time in the social media settings, on television, billboards. You see all of these wonderful health and fitness programs and gyms and podcasts and social media channels. And the list goes on and on about many of the ways that we can get the physical part of ourselves to a healthy standpoint. And many of us, when we see these people, I'm going to give you an example. I remember back in probably 2016, 17, I was still living in the state of Minnesota. And I had just started to get into the social media platforms. And I came across these two guys that they would compete against each other on a specific day every year, with kind of like a workout circuit, a fitness circuit that they did every year, once a year. And they trained all year up until the day of the actual event. They did it once a year. Watch this. One of them was, at that time, one of them was 90 years old and the other guy was 100. Totally inspired me. And I acted I moved based off the inspiration that they gave me. Because one of the things that I said, first and foremost, I want to do what I do until obviously God called me home. But I'm asking if that could be in my late 90s or something like that, maybe 100 years old. I'm asking for that. I'm hoping for that. I'm wishing for that. And so I had to start to fashion my diet and my exercise and my fitness around being healthy. I had to start to do that. I had to move in that in order to position myself that may be my reality in years to come. And I was really good at it. Obviously, I fell off. However, that became an action in my life. And many of us, watch this, right now, we are inspired by what we're seeing from a fitness standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a healthy eating standpoint. We want to live longer. We want to live better. We want to feel better. We want to get a better sleep. We want to put ourselves in places and positions where we don't have to have medications to activate or deactivate anything going on within our bodies, but we won't move on it. Inspiration without application makes inspiration just a word. If you don't move it, it's going to move you. And what I'm saying is, if we're not applying these things and these principles to our lives, like I said, we won't grow in those areas, but we'll digress or decrease in those areas that we're not acting out in or moving in. And so I'm having this episode because many of us out there, we got to make some changes. We have to make some changes. First and foremost, our relationship with God. Again, the Bible says faith without works is dead. And if we say that we have a relationship with God, God is our Father and we are his children, there has to be a movement for a better relationship. Because, it's kind of discouraging that we have so many of us who are believers, and the only way that people can tell we're believers is by what we say and not by what they see us doing. Inspiration without application makes inspiration just a word. Relationship with God without application makes that relationship with God just a bunch of words. And the same thing goes for our fitness. We have to start to move in the direction of the inspiration that we're saying has touched us. We have to start to move in the direction of that thing that we said, oh, that was for me. That message, oh, that was for me. I'm glad I came because I didn't plan on coming. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I didn't plan on coming. But boy, when I got here, that word, that message, that whatever, it hit me. Now, if that has happened to you, move on it. We have to move on it. Even from a mental standpoint, right? And an emotional standpoint. Listen, if we don't learn how to be inspired be inspired to control our emotions are going to always control us. And 100% of the time, when we act out, speak out, think out based off of emotions, it's coming out wrong. Somebody inspired you emotionally. Something inspires you emotionally. Some place inspired you emotionally, but you didn't move. It encouraged you, but you didn't move. It gave you motivation, but you didn't move. It gave you hope, but you didn't move. And like I said, if we don't move on it, it'll take us further back. And wow. You get around certain people that inspire you. And it's always encouraged to be around the people that you want to be like. Be around the circles that you want to be like. Do some of the things that some of the people that who you want to be like are doing in terms of your walk, your career, whatever the case may be. One of my cousins, watch this, and I'm not getting off track, but I want to give an example. One of my cousins, been blessed to be married. And at one point, he was getting this inspiration, encouragement, and motivation from somebody who has never been married. You don't have to guess the information that he was getting. And it's a good thing that he started to see, like, wait a minute, hold on. Something ain't right about this. I need to move away from this type of motivation, encouragement, and information, because how can I grow in this area if I'm around someone who has never done it, or getting information from somebody who has never done it and is not doing it? It's not going to happen that way. And so say for instance, even like with my life and the things that I'm doing to grow who I am. I have, you can look on my wall. I got Les Brown quotes. I have books around here by T.D. Jakes. I have books in my office by Eric Thomas. I listen to podcasts. I listen to YouTube channels. I'm around the people who I go to some of the conferences that each and every one of these guys are part of or facilitate. Because this is where I get a lot of my inspiration and motivation and encouragement from. These are some of the guys that I get it from. And the only way that I'm going to be able to grow, because some of the areas that they encourage and inspire me in, those are some of the areas that I want to grow in. Those are the areas that they are growing in. They are practicing what they're preaching. And the only way that I can continue to be encouraged or inspired is by being around some of these guys in some of those capacities that they're in. And it's a must. And watch this, the information that they give me, I have to move on. So if you want the encouragement to go where you want to go, if you want the inspiration that's going to lead you to where you want to go, if you want the motivation that's going to take you to where you want to go, that's going to drive you to where you want to go, you're going to have to be around people in places and things that's going in that direction. If you're not moving in that direction, inspiration without application is just a word. So when you don't get the results, ooh, wow. You get the results that you want based off what you do or what you don't do. If you want negative results, excuse me, you're going to do negative stuff. If you want positive results, you're going to do positive stuff. If you want to progress, You're going to do stuff that's going to help you to progress. If you're going to digress, you're going to do stuff that's going to help you to digress. So whichever way that you're moving in terms of what you're doing, you're going to get results from it. So watch this. If you're moving in the area of the inspiration, you can't do nothing but be a better you. It's impossible for you to not level up and be a better you. If you move in the area of that word, that place, or that thing that inspired and motivated you, you can't do nothing but level up. Wow. Here's the problem. But many of us, we won't even move. We'll sit there in mediocrity. We'll sit there in ordinary. Yep. We'll sit there and watch greatness pass us by. Every time it's, I don't know if he said the quote or he got it from someone else and he uses it, but he said this. He said, take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of what inspired you in the lifetime of that inspiration. You have to take advantage of it because inspiration even has a window that's not always open. How do I know? Some of the things that inspired me over the years of my life that I didn't act on or didn't move on, they gone. They gone. I don't even know if they're ever coming back. I'm not worried about that though. I'm focused on the things that's inspiring me now, that's encouraging me now, that's motivating me now. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this particular subject on this particular episode of Move Mondays, because I was moved by those three words, inspiration without not three words, a little bit more, whatever. Application inspiration without application is just the word. Period. So your social settings, they got to be inspiring you to move forward, to level up. The communities that you're around, they got to be inspiring. If they are inspiring you to move up, move on it, please. Move on it. Even your occupation, even your financial situation. If you have been inspired, again, watch this. Here's an example. Wall Street Trapper. If I've ever gotten some inspiration from a financial standpoint, it was from him. Wall Street looks like us now. This guy, the information that he gives about Wall Street and how to be able to, now watch this. He's not just being greedy for money. What he's saying is these are some of the ways that we can build generational wealth and break generational poverty curses. These are some of the ways. And he talks about how easy it is. Very inspirational. Have I moved on it? Nope. Do I have the means to be able to move on it? Yep. And it has done absolutely nothing. Listen, inspiration without application is just a word. I have much material that I've been inspired to keep from him that's going to help my bloodline for generations. And I haven't moved on it yet. Inspiration without application is just inspiration. And so, why did I just tell on myself? Because I'm one of those guys that's going to keep it 100. And this is going to move me to move on what I need to move on. That's how I do this. So I just told on myself. keeping it 100. And now I got to move on it. And I am because I want to break generational poverty off of my bloodline. I want to build generational wealth for my bloodline, for my offspring. And what I mean by that is that I don't want to just leave them with some financial wealth. I want to teach them how to be able to generate it and use it for good. Because the only way we're going to keep it is by using it for good. That's what I want to do. I'm inspired by that. And I want to inspire my offspring in the same way. And even some other people across the world, whoever God set me before or set before me. I want to be able to do that from a spiritual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a relational standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from an occupational, from a financial standpoint, from a social standpoint, right? From a community. I want to be able to inspire people in my bloodline and outside of it to better the quality of all of these things that we're going to be a part of. I want to be able to inspire and motivate and encourage other people. Am I just sitting on my butt? Absolutely not. I'm doing a lot of moving. It's just some moving that I need to be doing right now. I haven't. However, it's over after this. I'm going to move because I want to see you grow as well. So listen, y'all, inspiration without application is just a word. Inspiration with application means growth, 100%. So those words that you felt like was spoken for you, that message that you said, wow, that was for me. I heard that. I was moved by that. I was inspired by that. It touched my spirit. Please move on it. Please move on it. Because if it's touching you that way, it's saying when you move on it, I ain't going to say if, when you move on it, it's going to take you to other levels to which you don't even know. Lastly, I'm going to give y'all a story. Then I'm going to shut it down. About maybe 8 years ago, about 8 years ago, I was working out at a gym in Burnsville, Minnesota. Burnsville, Minnesota, where I used to live before I moved to California. And when I was working out, I had a workout buddy. He was my best friend. He was my sponsor at one point. Kevin Horrock. Awesome dude, good brother. Love you, man. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I appreciated our season and the experience that I had with you. I appreciate it. It helped me in many ways. And I'm going to tell y'all how. So we were working out at the gym one day. And he was spotting me. I was bench pressing and he was spotting me. At that time, I was a quality control inspector at a door company. Had good benefits, made good money, you name it. And was in line for more promotion. So anyway, we working out at the gym, and he, as I'm bench pressing and he spotted me, he said, "Hey, Paul, there's more to you than being a quality control inspector." This is right in the middle of me bench pressing. So I racked the weights and said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it's more to you than being a quality control inspector at a door company." He said, "You have something in you that people need to hear. You have something in you that's great. And I don't know what it is, but I know it's something. That was an inspiration for me. That inspired me. He saw something in me that was more than what it was that I was doing. And I was scared as all get out to act out on it, because to move on it, inspired, but scared to move on it because I was comfortable with what God had provided for me and my son at that time. One of the things that I realized, that it was time to go to the next level. I realized that it was time to go to the next level. But I was scared because I was comfortable. Inspired, didn't want to move because I was comfortable. Now, I go to work, and at the job that I was at, every Friday we had a company or a plant meeting. And this particular day, the manager was speaking about, quality control, production, things of that nature. What companies normally speak about. In the middle of him talking, here's what he said. The name of the company was called Seal-Rite. And he said, if Seal-Rite isn't in your future, I encourage you to follow your dreams. He said it's an entire plant. The entire team, everybody's maybe about 50 of us in there. He said it to everybody. But he was talking to me. That's what I took it as. That was a message for me. And so it confirmed what Kevin was talking about. And I was ready to move then. Let me say that. And so what happened was, after that meeting, I knew that God was telling me it was time for me to go to the next level. And so what I did was, I went in his office and I said, I need to talk to you. I need to have a meeting with you. We scheduled a meeting, and I put in my 2-week notice. And because I put in my 2-week notice, here I am 8 years later. Maximum U Coaching, my own business, a podcast, social media presence. I'm adding quality to people's lives that I touch. I'm doing prison ministry. I'm working in schools with children and youth that has had some behavioral issues. I'm speaking at treatment centers, encouraging men on how to build a healthy plan of recovery for their lives. I moved on what was inspiring me, and here I am today. I'm glad I'm doing this podcast, because I had gotten comfortable. And God said, no, get up, because there's some more stuff that I want you to do. And again, I appreciate the fact that I was able to tell on myself, because it's going to motivate and encourage and inspire me to go ahead and do what I need to do to get to the next levels of ministry, the next levels in my life, definitely the next levels in my relationships. So listen, inspiration without application is just a word. Inspiration with application moves you into your greatness. It's just as simple as that. With that being said, check this out, y'all. I love each and every one of you. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. I want you to be well. Do the next right thing. God bless you. and stop just being inspired. Do some moving. Until next time, deuces.